Hi, my name is Cameron Harity,
And I'm Carmela Hatch.
and we work for the Duluth Public Library. We also are an initiative called Every Child Ready Duluth, which is the library's focus on improving school readiness in Duluth. We work with community partners to support our families, children, and educators. We also take practices from Every Child Ready to Read, which is a national parent ed initiative surrounding early literacy. One of our strongest partnerships is with the Northland Foundation, as they are a strong supporter of our initiative. As part of our work with them, have created these videos. This is video 6 out of 6, so if you would like to see the other 5, please reference back to the previous ones. All right, here we go. We're going to get started.
I'm going to pull up our slides here for the presentation parts. And there we go. So that's what we're talking about today.
All right, here are our ready 5 characters. We have the Tacosaurus, the Sing Horse, the Rhitosaurus, the Reed Squirrel, and the Platypus. These little characters are what make up our initiative, and we hope that you'll take part and enjoy them like as much as we do. Children learn best by doing, and they love doing things with their grown-ups in their lives. And you know what? That's you. So give yourselves a pat on the back and, be proud of the work you're doing with the kiddos in your life.
All right, so we're talking this time about play. As you can see with Platypus there. The great thing about play is that it really incorporates all the other early literacy practices that we just saw with the Ready 5. When you're playing, you're talking, singing, reading, building writing muscles, all together. So children will naturally talk to you or their peers. They often make up silly songs. They're building, like I said, those writing muscles, manipulating objects and toys. And imaginative play involves lots of storytelling and retelling of stories they've read. Play can look like a lot of different things. It's not just a child playing with a toy. You as their grown-ups are often their first means of play. And some of the best play happens without fancy toys and without screens. We'll talk about a little more about all of those things as we move along here. I like to share this quote when we talk about play, that play is often talked about as if it were a relief from serious learning, but for children, play is serious learning. Play is really the work of childhood. Good old Mr. Rogers, says it right there, that play is where that learning happens as a child.
Play comes in many forms and doesn't just involve toys. Some of the best and most creative play happens for free with no toys at all. These are some examples. Watch a child playing and you can see their brains at work. Play is how they test out their ideas. What happens if I throw this block? Next time you're annoyed by a little one repeatedly throwing their toy out of bed or their cup off their high chair, know that they're not trying to be annoying, they're being little scientists, learning about cause and effect. Through play, they work on problem solving. It's important for them to try things out on their own, but also have adult support to show them options when they get frustrated. There's a sort of sequence that is helpful for children when they're learning to do something new that they typically follow before they master something. 1, you do, model it for them. 2, you do and the child helps. 3, child does it and you help. And 4, the child does it. This doesn't mean every learning experience follows the sequence, but it is often how learning progresses for them.
So play also builds their physical strength, which we talked about in previous videos, how actual physical body strength is actually an important part of developing their brains and their learning process. We talk a little more about that in our video, especially with the writing skills, but play builds both those small motor skills and the gross motor being those big movements. So fine motor skills, require dexterity and accuracy and are really important for learning how to write, especially. And all kinds of play really involve involves fine motor skills like puzzles, board games, building with blocks, those little shape sorting toys. Anything that involves children picking up small items is great fine motor building. Um, Gross motor skills, like I said, involves the larger body movement. So anything they're running, climbing, crawling, jumping, all those great movements on the playground. Um, that building that strength is also important for early literacy. So it's really important to foster play, have play that fosters both types of skills.
Playing with their trusted adults and their peers naturally builds social skills as they learn to communicate during play. They also learn important concepts like how to share, wait, take turns, compromise, and work out problems together. Even when they are playing alone, though, children can practice such skills. They have the chance to play out different social or emotional scenarios in a safe space. This can help them build empathy for others. It can also help make new experiences less scary, like going to the doctor, starting school, or traveling if they can play it out ahead of time. As they play, they explore and express themselves and try new things. Children build their self confidence, which then motivates them to continue to try to learn new things.
So those are some of the great things that children are building through play. This I'm going to go through kind of briefly, just that there are a lot of different kind of stages of play or styles of play that children go through. When we talk about playing, I think my mind automatically goes to like two kids playing with a toy together, or a kid running on the playground with their peers. But you think about when they're younger, it starts way back in this unoccupied play. So that's a baby when they come out into the world. The first thing they play with maybe are their own feet or their parents' face. Like it's that just kind of hanging out and getting to know the world. And then it progresses. So really that cooperative play where they're playing with their peers on a kind of on a collective goal or same story that they're playing doesn't really happen until like 4 and older. After that time, in between, they go, like I mentioned, from just exploring the world to kind of playing independently. There's a stage often where they're just involved in onlooker play, which I've noticed some parents or caregivers think it's their child being shy or antisocial or not jumping in, but a lot of times children just need to take that time to watch other children play and see how they do it. In the same way, I guess adults watch a sporting event. Children are watching each other play and figuring out how this works. They move then to parallel play, where they play in proximity to each other, but not together. This is often where sharing is a struggle. Tantrums happen. It's important. They'll figure it out. And then associative play comes before that cooperative also, where they're starting, they're working side by side. Maybe they're sharing some of those supplies, but they're not sharing that storyline or that goal until they finally get to cooperative. So play looks really different at different ages and stages.
Dramatic play allows children to develop their narrative skills as they make up a story about what they're doing. They practice that sequence of first, next, last as they create a story to act out. Often children are retelling stories when they play, which is great for strengthening those brain pathways as they remember things. Imaginative play involves a lot of symbolic thinking, which is when an object represents something else. Like in this picture of these two singing. Oh, cute. Their spoons and whisks represent microphones. This skill is not just good for enhancing creativity, it is also helpful for learning to read. Letters are shapes or symbols that represent sounds and make up words. Play naturally builds language skills as children talk about what they're doing, telling you the story, and asking questions. We'll look at some great examples of open-ended questions that you can use during play to encourage more use of language. These are some great examples of open-ended questions you can ask during play. We tend to ask a lot of close-ended questions to children throughout the day. Do you want this or that for lunch? Can you put on your shoes? Do you want to go to the park? So play provides a nice time to encourage more open-ended questions. These are great language practice for children and encourages more involved play.
And these ones we brought up in our talk video also. That comes from the Bay Area Discovery Museum. So in that talk video, we have a link that you can look at where they have even more kind of open-ended question prompts. So we talked about open-ended versus closed-ended questions. Now, looking at open-ended versus closed-ended play. These are kind of the two types of play that children kind of engage in. And both of them are important and good and build different skills. Open-ended play tends to build the most skills because of that endless possibility and freedom it gives children. So you want, a nice balance of kids to have both kinds. So first, close-ended play. That photo of the boy with his puzzle is a good example. Close-ended play activities have kind of a clear, specific direction. They have an end result or a goal. Like he's going to finish putting all of those shapes into their spots, all those animal shapes, or a board game, or flashcards. So that play builds skills and instills things like focus, discipline, problem solving, planning for a goal, recognizing shapes and numbers, lots of great things like that. Open-ended play is that other photo you see, those two girls. It's also called free or unstructured play. Really opens up the possibilities for learning opportunities. There aren't any instructions or rules or a right way to do it. Children will often kind of impose their own rules as they're coming up with these scenarios or games. This type of play doesn't require necessarily adult guidance, but it creates a lot of opportunities for adults to ask those open-ended questions to learn more about their process. And this type of play really fosters a lot more creativity, storytelling, imagination, decision, and rule-making skills. I just love this photo. I think this is one of the best examples of what open-ended play can give, because I could not come up with a scenario in which there were princess dinosaur veterinarians. I think that is something only a child could do, given all these great supplies. So a lot of what we'll be talking about with the development involves open-ended play. We'll give you some more ideas of ways to help foster kids in their learning. So this is just some more examples of kind of toys that allow for open-ended play, with things that they can build with, dress-up clothes, and things for what we call dramatic play, where they're acting it out, like a kitchen supplies, dolls, even things like train tracks and marble runs, where they can kind of create their own design, whatever they want with them, is great. Sensory bins are really good, especially for young children. Play-Doh. You can set up play stations that give them kind of like a prompt or a setup and let them take it from there. And I'd like to mention too that the library, the Duluth Public Library, has a lot of toys that you can borrow. They're housed at our main library. And all of our library locations have play spaces that involve both closed and open-ended varieties of play that you guys can engage in, whether or not you have a library card.
Alrighty, so now we're going to talk about screen time. We all know that there are times when we just need to keep kids occupied or to give ourselves a break. We need that screen time, and that's okay. Screens are all around us. Our work involves screens. Schools now incorporate more computers and tablets, so many life functions involve screens. Reading the news, paying the bills, communicating with family or friends. Because so many life activities involve screens, try not to make screen time a focus of playtime. We all need a break, and that's all right. But try to be conscious of how much we're relying on that, when we could maybe use something else, a book, coloring supplies, manipulative fidget toys. American Association of Pediatrics recommends no or very limited screen time for children under 2 years of age. For one, children that young can't learn from a screen alone. They need human interaction to learn new concepts and skills. As you see on the right, children 2 to 5 years old are only recommended to have 1 hour a day of screen time. Excessive screen time has been linked to higher cases of overweight children because they're not getting the physical activity they need. When they don't get that movement, they can also end up with attention and behavioral difficulties too. Children, of course, love screens. They see us using our phones all the time and want to see what's so great. If children are going to have screen time, be a part of it as much as you can. When it's a game you're playing together or looking at pictures on your phone, you're still creating a nice opportunity for connection, social time, and opportunities to ask questions and learn together.
All right. So thinking about, you know, some alternatives to screen time and also other forms of play, there are a number of books that are really, you can see here some examples on the screen that encourage play. These are ones that are interactive or ask a lot of questions, or like in Dancing Feet encourages them to do the movements. So I like to mention these because I think when we think about reading time in books, we don't always think about how a book can also be an opportunity just to play and move and have fun. In the same way that songs do that, right? There are songs that encourage a lot of movements and dancing. Listed some of our favorite artists on the side there, like Jim Gill, that we showed an example of in our Sing video, Laurie Berkner, Raffi, Casper Baby Pants. And then on the right, there's some songs that are particularly interactive, involve kind of they're a game or have a lot of actions. So that's just a great jumping off point for playtime also.
Don't forget, you can always visit the Duluth Public Library at our website at duluthlibrary.org. And from there, you can find our Every Child Ready website as well. We also have a Facebook page.
Oh, we didn't have that slide
Oh,
naturally.
no.
We do.
We also have a Facebook page called Every Child Ready Duluth, and you can find virtual story times on there. What else is on there?
We post events, specifically those that are for children birth to 5. Sometimes we have other resources and connections to events from our community partners as well. So you find that is a Facebook group that you can find through our Duluth Library Facebook page. And you can contact us anytime. If you look back at our previous videos, we included our email and phone. You can also find us on the Duluth Library website. And so this is the last video we've created of our 6, but I hope if you haven't seen the others, you'll go back through and take a look and learn some new things about building early literacy skills, and hope that you'll visit us at the library.
Thank you. Bye.